What's going on, guys? Today I want to give you a small review and we're going to install this Yonaka Motorsports radiator. This radiator comes with the fan shroud and the dual fans. Has the stamped Yonaka on the side of it. And this one is specifically for the 88 to 91 Civic and CRX chassis. When buying these you get an included t-shirt, hat, lanyard, license plate frame, and a decal. And the reason I wanted to do a small review on it is because we never got a chance to install it, nor did I ever get a chance to see the fitment on this inside of an EF. And we sold it on eBay. The guy that bought it said he could not get it to fit. He could not get the fan shroud to fit on the radiator with, he has a B VTEC swap with a header. So I guess any B series swap that would be in there obviously would be really similar in fitment. So I want to see how it fits on my 1990 Civic today with the B20 swap and that 1320 header. We're going to check and see if it fits with the fans and the shroud. And we're just going to install it regardless. If it doesn't, I'm just going to remove the shroud for now because I'm going to use it for the track event we have coming up in about a week and a half. Last week you guys saw me put that LSD transmission on. I have about 200 miles on it. So I want to get this installed and then go ahead and put the rest of the miles on it as I'm breaking that clutch in, so that way I don't have to worry about having any leaks on the radiator instead of installing this only say like a day or two before the event. So let me get started on that, get the car in the garage, and we'll check fitment on it and get an entire look at the radiator as it sits in the engine bay. Here's the engine bay on my 91 Civic Si. Skunk 2 half-size radiator which mounts using the stock location over here. And then obviously a full size would mount here, so it'd be the same width. If you look, this slim fan would not even clear. This is the Skunk 2 Alpha header on this car. So imagine I was to place this, let's say right about here. Let me see, how does that look on the camera? You can see there is no room. This fan will hit the header and it looks like a significant amount. It's got to be like a solid inch. So I just want to see how that fit on this particular car. And now looking at the B20 setup with the 1320 header. Stock radiator, so this one's going to fit right above it. There is no way. Look how close. Can you see? You can see how close this is to the header. There's no way it's going to fit. And I'm being generous. If I move it back so it's clearing the T-bar, not even a chance. It looks like the header is going to be even close to the radiator alone because it's so thick. Now that'll be great for cooling, but for fitment with this particular setup, it's a no-go for sure. Okay, now let's check with the D series. We got my wagon, DC header, stock everything else. Gosh. Honestly, can you guys see that? Even with that fitment, when this slides down, it might hit the second runner right there on the header. So it's gonna be, looks like right about right here. You know, it might fit, but I think it's still gonna be rubbing against it, especially after looking at it from the top here where this lines up. This point, the motor on the fan sticks out a little too far. And so after seeing that, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed in the design of this particular setup. Yes, the radiator is super huge and it would be great for cooling, but what's the point of having that fan shroud if it doesn't even fit? Like, it looks great, performs well, I'm sure, but it's not gonna perform well in this car when it doesn't fit. So that's unfortunate that it's not a good fit for these particular models, even on that single cam. Now what would be the point of adding this large radiator with these dual fans on a stock motor with a stock exhaust manifold? I don't really see any reason to do that, and I'm sure you guys can agree with me on that. So let's go ahead and get this installed regardless. I do want to use the radiator. I have no problem putting just a fan on the radiator itself. I had been using that Skunk 2 half size on my track car before with just a single fan on it, and that was the small one. And I had no issues at the track whatsoever. And we got 105-degree days down here in Texas. And our event is on June 23rd. So this video may be out after that. So it'll be pushed when it's really, really hot as well. So that way we can get a good, accurate reading of how well. And I can't imagine there's going to be any issues just because of the capacity of fluid that will be in this compared to the thin stock one that I'm using already. Now looking at the OEM one in comparison in terms of thickness, this one is about 5/8 inch thick. The Yonaka about 2 inches thick, so you're looking at almost 3 times the thickness in width. So that's definitely going to give us a lot more fluid capacity. Okay, let's get that Yonaka radiator dropped in, or tried to at least. Not even close. Have Fan Shroud on there with both of the fans. You can see right about there. There is no room whatsoever. I'm going to remove the shroud real quick and let's see about just dropping the radiator into spot. Okay, and with the fan shroud off, I still have the OEM mounting locations. I just have the innovative traction bar on there. So that looks like it'll fit, but look at this. You have maybe like less than 2 fingers space in here, so less than 1 inch of clearance. I couldn't even fit that fan on here if I wanted to, unless I maybe slid it way over here to the side. This side I shouldn't have any issue putting one of those slim fans. I think I might just fabricate a little bracket. Maybe. And what I normally do is I will run zip ties through it and then put washer on the other side. That's worked really well for me. We're gonna see right now, but it's hitting somewhere. Okay, it's hitting right here. So depending on where the radiator stays line up, I think it's still gonna rub on there. That problem might just be my T-bar. But I bought some aluminum today and some rubber grommets. I wanted to make something a little nicer for radiator stays because they don't really seem to make anything for EFs. Out of those today, I picked up these little rubber grommets. You can find them in all the hardware section. These will fit right on top of here. I didn't check the sizing, I just kind of measured it with my finger, but I think it looks like they'll be good to go. And I picked up a little thin piece of aluminum. I think I'm gonna drill a hole there, put the grommet in, and have that piece come out and come straight down, bolt up into the original mounting location. Okay, I got both of the radiator stays finished. I like the way they came out. I had this off-centered because it was a weird bend, and this this hole isn't exactly straight up and down with the mount. The rubber grommets fit perfectly on there. Now I trimmed this one just to round off the corners. I rounded off there. This one I'll do right now just to round it off. I don't know if I'm gonna paint them or not. I might paint them like a matte black or like a flat black, but I also thought about maybe trimming them and making them thinner all the way up and then opening it up just like a round section that surrounds the grommets, so it looks a little bit more sleek. But I might do that in the future. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I just want to get the radiator installed, see if I can get the fans on next. One thing I like is that this radiator does have the mounting holes for the stock fan. I have it fit in here. You can see it fits with a B-swap. It's very close, that blade, to the edge of the transmission, but it won't be an issue once I have it bolted up. It's not going to move anywhere. And the hose on the bottom, the coolant hose, there's no issue with the way that bolts up. That mounts up also. And here you can see, you could put a larger bolt here if you need to. I'm not going to. Once this one's held in place, once the ones up top are bolted completely, it's not going anywhere. Obviously it's not going to slide below the bottom of the hose. And same with right here, you could put another bolt on this one also if you wanted to hold it in that position as well. Once again, that's not one I'm going to mess with because I like making it easy if I pull it apart. And there's two on top, this holding it down here. It's already snug up against the coolant hose. I won't have any issue at all the way that that's set up. And after filling it and putting the cap back on, fortunately the cap doesn't, maybe it's just the decal. I'm gonna see if I can peel it off and spin it. I know some of you are probably anal about me on certain things like that. Like, I feel like the cap should be, when it's off, we'd want it to look like that, right? Just looks a lot better and cleaner. I would prefer that. So I'm gonna see if I can peel that off. But other than that, pretty straightforward. Have no issues with fitment. The hood closes perfectly fine as well. It sits right into the little recessed area on the hood. Now I have this shroud that I'm just gonna hang on to for now. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. Well, the decal wasn't an issue at all. So let's get this thing taken to the track and test it out. And welcome back, guys. Today is Sunday the 24th, one day after our track event. As you can see from some of the included footage, the car had no issues at all. Temperature gauge never spiked. Fan was turned on, of course, as it should. But I had zero issues in the performance of this radiator, which is what I was expecting. And so that'll conclude my review on this radiator, guys. The price of this radiator is about $240, which puts it in very similar price range to the Koyo. The Koyo looked to be a little bit more expensive, and the Mishimoto, I was able to find one at the cheapest at $225. Now I don't know the thickness of the Mishimoto and the Koyo, but I imagine they're relatively similar in build. They don't, the Mishimoto looks like it might be a little thinner, even the Koyo. So this one may have a little bit more capacity in it, but I'm not entirely sure. But I think for the price you're paying for, it is similar in build and quality to those radiators, even without the fan shroud. It's still very, very well built. I had no issues with it. Solved my issues of overheating at the track. And Saturday the 23rd, we had temperatures of 101 degrees out. And that was in the late afternoon when we were doing the time attack. So obviously performed in some of the most extreme weather that we can get out here. And as for the shroud and 2 fans, I guess I could just utilize these on something in the future. So it's not necessarily an entire waste, because buying a couple of these slim fans is going to cost you, I don't know, maybe between $20 and $50. I haven't checked in a while, even though they might be a generic one. I don't see any sort of stamping on them, and they remind me of some eBay ones I've had in the past. So it does help in terms of offsetting the price if you are looking for a radiator upgrade. And as for the swag that it came with, guys, I'm going to keep the lanyard, the plate frame, and the decal. I'm going to do a giveaway on the hat and the shirt. The shirt's a medium, so that fits you great. Same with the hat. My head's a little big. It doesn't seem to slide down far enough on my head, so I'm not going to ever wear it. If you're interested in either, leave a comment below. I will use a random comment generator about a week from today, and that way I'll pick 2 winners for those. So if you want to, the more comments you leave, the better. You have a higher chance, because that comment generator will randomly select. So obviously if you have more comments in there, put either I want the shirt, I want the hat, I want both in the comments. And then of course you can leave whatever else you want for your comments, like you guys normally do. But I hope you guys like the review, and if you're considering getting the radiator even without the use of the shroud, I think it's still worth it for the price. I do like the thickness of it, and I'm going to continue using it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.